How can we foster human relations that rise above borders and self-interest? Can love and shared spiritual values bring harmony into a divided world? How do personal growth and fraternal life help us discover true humanity? Hi, I'm Naika, your host for this 12th episode of our series, Towards a Solar Civilization. Personal growth, shared values, fraternal life. True fraternity goes beyond personal or group interests. It's about coming together for something greater. Think of it like an orchestra. Each person, like an instrument, plays their part to create harmony. This means cultivating love, selflessness, and growing as individuals while working with others. And that's when we realize that unity arises from shared spiritual values. Let's illustrate this through a trip to 7 countries, meeting 7 interesting people from 3 continents who have one thing in common: shared spiritual values. What if our skin were also the skin of the universe, pressed against unknown darkness? We are the limit, maybe the membrane for all possibility. Sabrina, Dalla, Valle. Today, Sabrina joins us from St. Petersburg to share personal experiences with the Master during her childhood. Life at the Bonfim for several years, with the Master for 3 months on a ranch outside Redding, California in front of Mount Shasta, or playing in the trees above the Master's house in Hawaii. A dual citizen of Italy and the United States, Sabrina was a teacher for 33 years and now serves her Florida community, bringing esoteric insight into our daily lives. An award-winning author, a deeply sincere poet, Sabrina begins by sharing the Master's most favorite prayer. Sabrina.
All day long, he says, thank you, thank you, thank you. When he's working, thank you that I may work. Thank you that I may have these things. Thank you that I am here with these people. Thank you that I can stay in this place. Always, wherever his attention went, thank you for whatever was going on. That was the most important word. Thank you and giving your best. So I had this wonderful opportunity from the ages of 8 to 18 to know the Master Omraam Mikhail Ivanov. And as a child, we had a lot of time next to him. So my experiences of being with the Master close to him was more like being with a grandfather. And what I remember are very practical things and maybe funny things, endearing things. And maybe these are sides of a great teacher that maybe aren't known as well. Because I think sometimes we think someone is so perfected in their inner life and in their teaching that maybe they're not so human. But when you live with someone in a day-to-day basis, you get to see the human side. And there are a few stories that I would like to share. The thing that really impressed me was he always took care of himself. He sewed his own clothes when they were torn and hemmed his own pants and did his own washing. He washed everything by hand. He did his own ironing, his own grooming. He cut his own hair. He took care of himself entirely. He cleaned his own room. Nobody entered his private space. And that was really important for him to live a super practical life and be responsible for all parts of his own care. And I think that's important for us to remember too, because sometimes we think, if we have arrived to such a state in our in our life where we're a big teacher and have a lot of people that we're responsible for, and a huge organization like the FBU, that maybe we don't have to take care of these little things, but he made certain that he took care of all the practical necessities of life, because that is also a big part of the teaching. Another thing that really impressed me when I was young was how humble the master was. And we stayed in 3 beautiful places, beautiful homes with he had the opportunity to take the master suite with a gorgeous view. And in the West Indies, he chose the guest room at the far back that didn't look onto the water, but looked onto the village across the way. And at the ranch, he had the opportunity to take a master bedroom overlooking a beautiful valley with Mount Shasta rising above. But he didn't want that master bedroom. He took the back bedroom that looked onto the back side of the house into a little hill. Not a beautiful view. And then in Hawaii, also the same thing. He didn't stay in the main house. He didn't take the main bedroom. He took the little mother-in-law cottage bedroom at the entry, like near the gatehouse. And so he had this opportunity in all of these places to, take in such gorgeous view. And in all cases, he chose the most modest quarters for himself. And I think that says a lot, because he went to these places to do a great work on the landscape and in the waters, to work with all the etheric forces of the land around, and spent so many hours meditating on the water and over the water. But he chose to have his private space away in the most modest area of the properties. Another daily activity was the news. Every day at a certain hour, he watched the daily news, the headlines, and it was really important for him to know what was going on in the world. And he always shared jokes. He was learning English, and he would learn jokes in English, and his big joy was to share them at the table. And we always had lunch together, and then we spoke about the business of the day, and
such as?
He always wanted to know what was happening in the house. Who was doing what? Was something broken? Did it need to be fixed? How would it be fixed? Who's going to town? Why are you going to town? What are you doing? Not that he needed to, not from a point of view of needing to control everything, but it was very important for him to know the business of life and who was doing what, and that it was efficient. Why would you go to town 3 times in the week when you could go once and accomplish everything? So I remember him helping us organize the tasks of the week and of the day to be efficient. That was super important. The master also had a sweet tooth, so every once in a while we would splurge. One time he wanted to go shopping in the mall in Honolulu. And so we looked into different stores, and he thought it's time for a little snack. And so he offered everybody an ice cream cone. And it just happened to be on that day, maybe 2 hours before we sat down for the ice cream, my brother and I wanted a frozen banana dipped in chocolate. And we were at that point alone with my mother in the mall. So she said, okay, you can have this frozen banana in chocolate, but that's your treat for the week. And that was really special to have sugar. So by the time the master came around to offer ice cream, my mother said, oh no, the children have already had their sweet, they can't have ice cream. So we were sitting down and everybody was having ice cream but my brother and I, and the master looked at us and he felt so sorry for us. And he said, can't they have a second sweet today? Can't they have ice cream? And so my mother had to compromise from her sugar discipline, and we got to have 2 sweets that day. But that was kind of funny because he was feeling very sorry for us. So that was a nice thing to experience with the masters, this combination of pretty strict discipline and then these moments of pause and relax and play.
Let's stay in Florida and meet Grigorios, a pianist and professor of music in Tampa who has already lived in the U.S. for 18 years. Critically acclaimed for his diverse career, he's earned numerous distinctions for his piano recitals and has recorded an impressive 8 albums. He emphasizes that for music to truly touch the soul, the performer must cultivate inner harmony and live a peaceful life. An extended cut of this interview is also available below, ending with a powerful performance of Beethoven's Piano Sonata No. 32. Over to you, Grigorios.
Work full-time as a piano professor, and I give concerts, I travel.
And you met Yorgos Manesis, who was the president of the FBU in Greece a long time ago when you were young.
I met him when I was 12, and he was my piano professor. In my hometown, in Lamia, he was the director of the conservatory, and back then it was just, I was living in a dream, in paradise. I didn't know what was happening, but I was do a lot of things, and in a way I didn't know the teaching, but I was exposed into the teaching of Master Ivanhoff. And then now, after all these years, with my mind and my intellectual ability, as we grow, now I understand all of those things that I have experienced.
How did that manifest itself? How did Yorgos weave into your teaching, the teaching of the master?
Through music, I think it was just his presence, being an example, and the atmosphere he created. I think that's the most important thing.
Tell us about Porto Heli.
And now we have the festival that we continue. It's a music festival we have. The 3 of us, we're kind of in charge of the festival. I bring artists from Greece, from here, from the US, and then we have a lot of artists from Greece and other places. And so we continue the music festival, but this is where I basically grew up, me and many other students.
And Porto Heli is the center?
Yes, it is also, it's a spiritual
of
center.
The Brotherhood in Greece.
Yes.
And it's Yorgos who introduced you to sunrises, and he taught you.
So it was always, the early morning sunrise meditation. I was learning music, I was memorizing the scores, doing work with the score and the music score. And I developed, without realizing it, photographic memory back in those days. And now that's why now when I play something that I have studied when I was in my teens, I have to use the same edition, the same score, because I remember where everything is on the page. Wow. It's a photographic memory, but that is done early in the morning. You can visualize things and internalize things.
And when you perform, what is your
experiences are when you perform, you think you are, something else plays through you. So Yorgos used to say to me, you see, all of those things I have heard before, and now I understand the real meaning. That he used to say, you have to get to a point that it's not you who plays. Like in German, they say es spiel, right? It plays. Yeah. So you have to touch their heart, their soul, feel like they go back to something that is lost, what we call the lost paradise in a way. So to do that as an artist it's my responsibility. How do I live every day? I cannot be in a chaotic environment or live a chaotic life, because then my art will be influenced by that.
How would you prepare yourself before going on stage to play?
I learned that from Yorgos back then, that, it's like you switch the light, so all of the lamps we have inside us, so you meditate. It's like you can be you imagine you're in a darker room, and then all of a sudden you go on stage and everything is light up. And then it helps because when you're on stage, all the lights are on you, so you feel like you radiate light. But it takes, I usually take time, half an hour at least, be quiet. I don't want to see people and really prepare for a concert.
Tell us, how does going to a center impact your life and vice versa?
As a performer,
yeah.
Recently I was in Vidalinata and it was amazing, for New Year's. There's something special, the work the people do there, the spiritual work, how they concentrate, and then you sit down and play, and you feel like right away you're connected. Like your sound is different, the atmosphere is so different. So, I think you have to experience it. The people, how they create the atmosphere, helping everyone. It's like you get out of the personality that we call it. Of our little self, you become more selfless, you become more loving, and then I can sense that in my music right away. I mean, it's so much better. I mean, it's the criteria is my sound, because it comes from my whole being. So I'm at peace again. It's like I found my family again, and that's another thing. Now I remember that the master used to say to Yorgos, you have to play music that is inspired. Not a lot of music is good. You have to really know what to pick that will make you grow and feel good. And of course, another thing, who is your audience?
Any last comments about the teaching and how it impacts your life?
Oh, it has impacted my life tremendously, and I'm very grateful. And of course, my music, and I love what you do here in the United States to keep us all connected, and I think that's very important.
Let's meet Nadine Sabbagh at the Valle, the International Brotherhood Center in the south of France, which she now calls her true home. A well-traveled spiritual seeker, Nadine found her path through the yoga of nutrition, see below, and draws inspiration from various practices, especially sunrise meditations. Most importantly, she knows how to balance spirituality and practical work, constantly learning new skills that expand her horizons, including wood cutting, wood carving, wood staining, wood sanding, baking, building, harvesting olives, becoming a roof expert, selling crystals, enjoying the fruits of her labor, and most importantly, learning the violin and playing the violin. She grew up in southern Germany, where she had, quote, a pretty normal life and education and apprenticeship and sports, end quote. But in her late 20s, she started searching for something.
At the end of 20, I started to search for something more meaningful and more fulfilling, and I started to travel, went to China for education or martial arts, and that's where everything fell into place, more or less. I started to travel places in the outside, but also in the inside from that moment on.
How did you describe the Bofa to them when you went back to Germany? What would you tell them where you had just been?
In paradise. Yeah, in a place where, or in other words, in a spiritual community that live after the teaching of the master, that grow their own food, hold congresses, take care of each other, build and sustain and renovate their buildings. So it's like a little village where the ideal of love and unity and brotherhood and peace is the core principle, and everyone is living after this.
Of all the practices of the teaching, which ones fascinate you the most at the moment? And that will certainly change in life. And which ones do you find, or which one do you find the most difficult to apply in your daily life?
I really feel that the sunrise meditation in the mornings is the core for me. To meditate with the rising sun, to receive all those rising, uplifting energies is, the base for me, and it's something I cannot think that I will not do anymore. But maybe it's also the most challenging at the same time what you ask, because I feel that there's so much potential in this method.
If you had an opportunity, which you actually have at the moment, to speak to all the young people out there in the world, what would you tell them?
Take the sun as a model. These are not my words, these are the words from the master, but something that I really integrated as a rule or a guideline into my life. Just whenever you don't know what to do or what to say, or what is it all about, then just look up to the sky and think, what would the sun do in this moment? And the answer is usually always the same. Love, spread light, spread warmth, and life. These are the attributes that the sun is doing. It's just nourishing, it's only giving. It doesn't make any distinction between, is this someone guilty or is this a holy person? Is this a cactus and is this an apple tree? Whatever it is, the sun is always giving and sending its love and its rays. So this will always be, when you follow this ideal, then you will be guided from above, and the angels and the light beings and the great masters will just accompany on your path. And it's the key to leaving all loneliness behind and all suffering and depression and wherever you think you suffer from will be gone.
How is life at the Bofa? What is different in your daily life here than in the world out there?
The first time in life that I feel there is a physical place here in space and time, in this three-dimensional realm that I can call home. Because it contains all those attributes and all those ideals which I carry in my soul.
You did not meet the Master while he was incarnated in a body. Do you care to share a little bit how the relationship you have with the Master through his talks?
So I feel just immense gratitude towards him, towards this path. It's not limited to him. He's, how I see it, just another expression of the one path of Christ. And I feel honored to just step into this path and be another expression of this light of Christ. And especially as being, to me personally, as being Melchizedek. Yeah, I feel a strong connection to Melchizedek as well, which is also just another great master of this one path. So I feel him being a very clear conductor of this teaching. So it's in alignment with my greatest driving ideas. And there's a lot of methods contained in this teaching that can deepen this relationship and deepen the process of understanding, of feeling, of working with the light, of just becoming an expression of love and unity and harmony. This is to me the teaching. Dankeschön. Appreciate this.
And now to Australia. Julian Ahonen, by chance or by providence, found himself immersed in Neoplatonist philosophy. But first and foremost, he is a skilled Babylonian astrologer. His 20,000 or so Instagram followers are a testimony to his competence. Anatole told me that he's come to see him as a true seeker, always in search of the meaning of life. No, this isn't a Monty Python sketch. Julian says that the teacher illuminated his path. Let's begin with his favorite or most rewarding aspects of the teaching. Julian.
Yes, my favorite without hesitation is Love and Sexuality. It was the first two books that I read. It was what drew me into the teaching in the first place, was the way that he spoke about how human beings should talk about the opposite sex and sexuality itself, as, you know, this bringing in poetry and beauty and trying to refine and sublimate and beautify the way that we speak about, how men speak about women and how women speak about men. You can see I'm sitting behind the birth of Venus, so love, the goddess of love, is a big influence in my life, really important. And this discussion that he had of refining the sexual force into a more poetic, artistic, sublime, beautiful kind of energy, it just hit me, like I felt like he said what I had been trying to say for years and years and years, and then he just went a whole lot deeper as well. Yeah, that just
Wow.
Love and Sexuality is my favorite.
I love it that you can express this so openly. That's
thank
commendable.
you.
Thank you.
When we're living with lots of other people, we're always metaphorically bumping into each other, and our different preferences and needs and desires and personalities, they're going to clash. And actually, there's this quote from the Havamal, which is a Viking poem, which is very kind of gutsy. And it says, the quote is, "Where there's more than one, there is a fight." And the first time I read that, I thought, no, that's not true. This is spirituality. We all sing Kumbaya and we all get on great. But as I've reflected on it more, I realize how wise it is to have that attitude, because when you have two separate individual entities, they're going to bump into each other. That's absolutely inevitable. It's more just about how do we navigate those conflicts, and it's always about putting our own desires, our own pride, our own preferences second place to the need of the collective, the need of the whole, or the hive, as it were. And in that way, we start to live in harmony. And that's been a huge journey for me out of my kind of intellectual isolation into brotherhood and warmth and unity, which is the world of the heart, so I suppose it both challenges and fascinates me at the same time, this process of living and loving and working with other people. It's so for me, the biggest factor in my life has been my intellect. And I come from an academic background, like I'm sure lots of us do these days. This really seems to be the age of the intellect. And what I kind of found with that intellectual intelligence focus is that it leads to a sense of arrogance and a bit of pretentiousness and kind of lording it over others, even unconsciously without even realizing it. And so around the time that I found our master, I started a philosophy group where I was discussing the Neoplatonic spiritual tradition, Platonism, and things like that, which is, of course, quite an academic subject, you know. And what I really found in that experience, which was probably about a year, maybe a year and a half long, I really found that using that over-intellectualized language is such a hindrance on what was such a hindrance on my ability to communicate with the people who were coming and the people that I was really trying to connect with. If I contrast that with the master's style, I mean, he's so simple and profound, and it's extraordinarily deep, and yet a little child can really learn it and say it, you know. It's so making that shift kind of out of the mind to the heart, which is more relatable and more wanting to share and relate to people. That's been a massive, massive lesson for me.
Can you elaborate how the teaching helped you get out of that dark space or dark spaces you found yourself in?
What the teaching really highlighted, and this has just been one of my biggest lessons, was, to put it very simply, taking our issues and struggles and difficulties in life and kind of recognizing that they're our friends, that they're a necessary thing for us to grow. And even now, you know, today I'm having to face all kinds of different situations that probably less extreme than 10 years ago, but unfavorable situations that I know if I didn't have this really truly sacred teaching, I would probably buckle under the pressure. So I guess to sum it up, this beautiful set of books and this beautiful example, the living book of our master, turns all my struggles into gold. I can truly attest to that.
Let's continue our journey and meet Adrian Israel Garcia Quieros. Born and raised in Mexico, he studied in El Paso, Texas, then spent 16 years in China, creating and running a successful trading company. Today, he lives in Merida with his wife and daughter, Luna. Luna randomly picked up a book, evidently already studying the teaching. Transitioning from businessman to farmer, Adrian now focuses on creating a self-sufficient, sustainable farm. His mission is to preserve sacred Mayan lands and ancient water caves. Along with coconut trees, he cultivates various fruits and vegetables. The interview begins with Adrian sharing powerful words of wisdom.
No matter where we go, we are always children of the sun. And to me, everything that is solar related and element related, in that sense, is really like my mother and my father, like my real ones, right? This source is where where we all going back one day, to be around like-minded people and very open. As you mentioned, Omraam was very liberal. Yeah, way of speaking as well, very open. And I really like that about him.
How did you find the teaching of Omraam Mikhaël Ivanhoff? What led you to it?
It was an ayahuasca ceremony. It all started there. And it was a vision of an angel. And something made me look on the internet. It was Sarapi's Bay, which I didn't know who he was, but I remembered his face, and I started searching for this face online, and when I saw his face on the heart center, I immediately wrote to them and I asked them. I I noticed that they had this Archangel Vigil, which I immediately decided to assist. And there's where I met some of the people who later met in Mount Shasta, and it was through there that I met the White Brotherhood and you and everyone. It was that curiosity and that it was so beautiful. I mean, I knew that there was something more, and I was very, I didn't believe in God. No, I didn't. I didn't. And slowly I found Omraam and his teachings, and ever since I've kept his books close to me. Yes, this basically was my first instinct to the white greatness of the universe, and Omraam is a perfect follower of the white light, and the perfect teacher of us and of myself.
Tell me about your experiences in Mount Shasta. What particularly struck you, and how did you perceive those 8-9 days we were together?
The place was amazing. The people were wow. I really enjoyed the community. The community is very nice. Is top of the line. I mean, it's very beautiful to be with you and everyone there. We loved it. I mean, we felt at home. Very beautiful people. Everyone, thank you. It was very nice. We really enjoyed it, and we want to go back. We want to do it again. We want to learn more, and we want to bring our baby also to expose her to more of this, which is lovely. And the food was very important, because at first glance I got to know what kind of food is the one eaten by the master, or everything related to eating has something to do with our life out there, space and time, and everything is connected. So sometimes I feel like when I'm eating, let's say, an apple or a strawberry, I'm feeding, of course, my bodies, right? And along with them, everything else. And incorporating all these religions with the yoga of nutrition is a big thing, because it is applicable to anything, everything. It is everywhere. It's universal. It's so beautiful when people are just put in all their heart into something, into something they believe in, and something so beautiful. And this I saw in everyone. No, it was lovely. Everything was lovely. I mean, I can't remember anything specific right now, but I can tell you that there's fond memories of this trip, and this Congress was simply, it was like record breaking for me, because it was so many new things, and I wish I can practice them more in the way they are practiced or should be practiced.
You mentioned earlier on the Bonfin that you saw the Bonfin as the sort of, the place. What particularly attracts you to the Bonfin?
I think everything is concentrated there. The teachings, the energy around it. It is like the Egypt of Omraam, It's just I just want to take a walk there, and I'm very looking forward to our next meeting in person. Yes.
Me too. Me too. Oh, hello.
And now, let's go to Belgium. Nicoleta is an inspiring individual originally from Romania. She talked to Anatole at Claire Colline, a serene brotherhood center surrounded by nature, just outside Brussels. If you have been following our series, you might remember Carmen's introduction to Claire Colline in episode 5. See the link below. Nicoleta is certified in consciousness coaching and neuroscience, specializing in leadership and team dynamics. With her intuitive insights, she helps leaders confidently navigate the challenges of change management. Although Anatole and Nicoleta started their conversation in French, they fortunately managed to switch to English.
Can you speak just a couple of sentences more?
Yeah, I'll need to touch that English button.
Perfect.
I'm originally from Romania. I studied political sciences. I finished my university in Italy. And then I moved to Brussels to finish my paperwork, my final thesis on a program developed by the European Union. And I discovered Belgium, like so international, so green as well. And then afterwards I understood why it's so green, because of the rain. I started working in Belgium. And interestingly enough, I started working in finance. I have more than 20 years of finance. And since 2015, I switched towards coaching, being more people-centric, wanting to have a transformation in the consciousness of people. I travel a lot. I lived 2 years in New Zealand, in Mexico, in US, in some other countries as well, and back to Belgium to practice coaching and to practice aromatherapy as well, some energy, Reiki therapies as well.
How did you get into the teaching of Omraam Ivanhoff?
Look, it was a series of synchronicities. The person that I replaced, actually, that I replaced in Hewlett-Packard, was someone that was coming to the center here. I didn't know it. I learned it afterwards, after several years, and there was something, the way that the person, the way that she was speaking, she was walking. So that was really and every time I was asking, what's going on? Every time that she was coming from her summer holidays, she had a different energy around her. And it was really strong. I could sense that. I could see that the entire body was different. The entire stance was different. And she was not really sharing a lot. It's like, I'm going to some retreats outside of France. I was like, okay. And then 2 years after, so that was in Hewlett-Packard, I changed. I moved to MasterCard. And at MasterCard, there was it's in Waterloo in Belgium, close to the Napoleon's battlefild. And there was this beautiful organic shop where I used to go for lunch. And I discovered these books of Ivanov, of Omraam Ivanov. And I started buying them and reading them as I studied political sciences. For me, philosophy, and it seemed so familiar. And also the face of the master at the end was really super familiar. My grandfather is Bulgarian. So I learned that Omraam Ivanov is also from Bulgaria, or specifically from the old Macedonian part. And it resonated very deeply with me. Yeah.
The first time you came to this center, do you remember your first impressions?
For me, it was like discovering a new world. It was in the 2003 probably. And I was impressed. Everything was organic in terms of food. And at that time, there were the organic shops were really rare. It was vegetarian foods. We're speaking about, organic, not only food, but also products, cleaning products, the way that people were taking care of themselves, the atmosphere, the meditation, the beauty of the paintings on the walls, and everything was there, and it was so impressive for me because there was this kind of beauty around that was uplifting. And we rarely see that in our surroundings, and especially having that consciousness on choosing consciously things that harmonize us, that uplift us. And especially the kindness of people. I never met people so kind.
Can you elaborate what you meant with consciousness in your work? And then linking that to the teaching, what you understand by that?
I wanted to have an impact. I wanted to be of service to the society at a bigger level, and especially to make an impact in the people. And this is what I find, that through coaching and through my own background, my own work, inner work, through meditation, through what I read and what I practice from Omraam Ivanov, there is something that I can apply and I can transfer and work at that level of consciousness. And I think that as a society, at least for me, this is so important to go to the next level of consciousness, to really increase our level of consciousness from our individual awareness and consciousness to a larger scope, to work more collaboratively, to support each other, to consider ourselves like more like brothers and sisters instead of competing with each other. And nowadays, with all the changes that we have seen with the COVID, with all the changes that we see on the economic scene, political environment and so on, I see that there is a shift in understanding that what unites us and what makes us more agile, more able to go across in like all this space of change that is increasing, it will be really working together, being together, advancing together and evolving. And I see that this is so precious now. How can we increase that collective consciousness? How can we care not only about our own interest, but also develop more empathy? So I work a lot and for me, I work a lot on developing empathy, bringing more kindness and consciousness at work at all leadership levels, switching from that survival mode to really love, to consciousness, to being aware, to empathy, and to a totally new level that maybe we're not even aware where this will take us.
Of all the practices of the teaching, which ones have you felt are the most rewarding?
Something that is really very, very inspiring for me as a practice is the sunrise meditation. It's something that it's my favorite moment of the day. It's peaceful and it centers me. I keep it something that it's a must for me. It's having that morning meditation for me. It's that moment where I'm centering myself. And this is something that actually I'm sharing with all my colleagues at work. I'm as an internal coach, and we're a community of coaches, and we share things that also centers us. Because sometimes I have individual coaching, but also team coaching with big teams, and sometimes challenging teams. And it's important to have things that resource ourselves as well. And for me, meditation, especially morning meditation, is that moment where I center myself.
And last but not least, let us meet Felix van Frieden, also from Germany. Trained as a mason, Felix hit a deep existential crisis during his subsequent architectural studies. He struggled, but found his way by focusing on his purpose. Today, he's living his passion, a coach dedicated to helping people discover their true path and create a world built on love and self-realization. He's also a spiritual YouTuber with over 60,000 subscribers. He has interesting guests sharing unique life perspectives. In his interview, also recorded at the Valle, Felix begins with a metaphor.
So imagine we are all ships in the ocean. And when we go on the spiritual way, we leave the safe harbor. There's the safe harbor, there's the comfort zone. And then we see, there are big worlds I do not know right now. Big worlds of consciousness, of light and of love. And we go out And maybe some of us are very naive at the beginning and go out on the big ocean. And we do not know that there on the big ocean there are some dangers. There are some pirates maybe who want to enter our ship. And where do we go? Imagine you are on a boat on this big ocean and you have no map, you have no goal. Where do you go? How can you decide which is the right way? And how can you protect for all the dangers? And then there is the idea of a community with people who are on the same way. Okay, this is good for the protection, but at least if you have no goal, if you have no role model, if you have no map, where do you go? There are big arguments and everybody has a different opinion. So it's so important that at first there is a community, but second there is an idea which is bigger than everybody else. An idea which comes from a master, or not which comes from a master, which was told by a master. The idea is everywhere, and I like these. If you got connected to an idea, the idea connects to you. And this is when we work really for the golden age. We are connected by the idea, and this idea supports us. And then we have a role model. We have a master who talked about this. And this is the good thing by Omraam. He talks a lot. He talked a lot. And we got a lot of conferences. So we have the map. We have the map and we have the goal. And when we have the map and the goal and the community, we can go safe through the ocean. Anatol always talks to me about USA, America. When we enter the ship in Germany and we want to go to USA, there's a big ocean. And there is a long time traveling forward. Or we have to travel a long time. And it's very good to have the goal in mind. Maybe you want to go to New York. And then we have the map. And then we have people around us that we are strong. And there wants to come the pirates, but we are strong community. We stand together. And we have light in our mind, love in our heart, and we got a strong will that we will go on our way. And a spiritual community with a clear teaching and a role model is so powerful. I do not know anything more powerful than this, if we want to go safely to the goal.
We are here at the bonfire. Would the bonfire be a destination, one of your goals where to get to? And if so, why?
I think the bonfire is is one area, yes. And I think every country needs a bonfire. And also the bonfire can be bigger, more beautiful, and can be really like a village. Because now a lot of people go here and have vacation and spiritual work, and it's all beautiful. But for my feeling, now is the point we can go one step further and can see how we can bring us to our normal lives. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful that we work together on such a big project. We can talk like from point of view we are souls and we incarnate for this big project, and then we meet and then we work and then we create. It's perfect.
In the pre-interview, you mentioned that at the moment you are in a state of peace. Not only your name says it, Van Frieden, Felix of the Peace, but you mentioned that you were really in a wonderful state at the moment. Care to describe what that state is and how to get to it internally?
Yeah, for me this is because I got a goal and I know what's the next step. And this brings me into this what brings me into this peace right now is the feeling I'm on the right way. This is what brings the peace the last days to me. So there is a very big goal, and there are a lot of decisions we can make, and I got the idea of, I got it, but I feel the idea of to be all you can be. So everybody got so much potential. At the moment, I feel grateful to be here, and I feel grateful to what I experienced the last 2 years, and I got an idea of how it can be if we continue, and this is so great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel fortunate to know some of these wonderful people and eagerly look forward to meeting the others. Remember, some interviews already have or will soon feature an extended cut available at youtube.com/@Omraam. What do you think? Should we do a third season? We could feature topics that cover astrology, harmony, harnessing everyday opportunities for a happier life, working with light and colors, how to awaken consciousness, the art of living, and perhaps even more interviews. Please share your thoughts and preferences in the comments section below. We deeply value your engagement and perspectives. Until next time, keep seeking the divine within yourself and each other and everywhere around you. Stay safe and stay connected.